Hello everyone, it's Petko Alexandrov and I continue about a week after I have placed these 12 expert advisors on a small live trading account for the purpose of this course, and you can see that already I have $15 of a profit. Not a lot of profit for 5 days, but as you notice with every next video the profit gets a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. Here are all the trades that opened and closed. You see some more take profits were had, and $15 in 500 account is 3%, right? Not bad for 1 week. And obviously I have these expert advisors on bigger accounts, but one more time I wanted to show a relatively small amount for this course because I don't want anybody to accept it as a recommendation. If I show a bigger amount, I don't want anybody to feel like trading with a bigger amount, okay? I want you to start with amount you feel comfortable. And of course, as I always say, start first with a demo account. Okay, so in the previous video, you saw how the backtest on MetaTrader works, how it looks. And now I will show you what's the difference when we do backtest with the strategy builders. Okay, we did it for the dollar yen. Here it is. You see some nice trades, some short trades happened recently. And what I will do, I will go to File, Open Data Folder. I will grab these expert advisors for the dollar yen. So I will click on experts and I will take the $2 yen expert advisors. I will just copy them and I will minimize the VPS. And what I have right here is the Expert Advisor Studio with some strategies that I recently generated for the pound dollar, but I will show you that later on in the course, how I'm doing it. What I will do now is I will go to strategy and right into the editor, we see this arrow where we can have a drop down menu, and I will go for the option to import an expert advisor back, or this is possible as well with the Ctrl+I from your keyboard. But what I will do, I will just click on it, and on the folder that I have prepared before the video, I will be pasting the 2 expert advisors for the dollar yen. Here they are, and now I will open the first one, for example the one for hourly chart. I click on open and you can see what is the strategy behind the expert advisor, and I will show you so much more statistics. You see what a balance chart I have, as well you can see backtest outputs where we see the most important like profit per day, but that's for 0.1 lot, maximum drawdown, return to drawdown ratio, count of trades, and in the middle we see the strategy itself, okay? Something we don't see in the backtest on MetaTrader. I have an entry rule with the Williams percent range. If I click on it, you will see that Williams percent range is the indicator, and the rule is Williams percent range crosses the level line upward, period of 23, level of -14. And I have exit rule with the envelopes, and the condition is the bar opens above upper band after opening below it. And here are the parameters below. What more I have indicator chart, which is absolutely fantastic. You can see where the trades were opened and closed exactly, and where we have short trades, long trades. So for example, when we have the red bars or small lines, you can call them, below the chart, it means we're in a short position. And for example, right here we have 2 long positions, okay? That one and another one here, this one, okay? So you see where the new bar opened according to the entry rule and where the take profit was hit. So these green small lines are the take profit. Here is the stop loss. The trade was opened and here it was closed. Okay, I will just scroll a little bit more. You can see here is a long trade that closed I guess on 0. This is a negative trade. Okay, here it is. It was a long trade, a buy order, but it went on a negative. Here is a positive one. So every strategy obviously has losing trades. And don't expect to find strategy only with profits, but of course we want to have more profits than losses. And with strategy builders like EA Studio, it's very easy to find such strategies, and I will show you later in the course. But let's have a look, for example, at that trade here. Okay, the bar opened after we have the Williams percent range crossing the level line. Then we have the take profit, stop loss is somewhere below, I cannot see it at the moment. And I have as well the exit condition, which in this case, I think it applied right over here. Okay, with this trade, you can see the trade was open here, the take profit was not had. I have the exit condition. Okay, if I go back to the editor one more time and I click on envelopes, the bar opens above upper band after opening below it. We have the bar that opened above the upper band after opening below it. And this is actually a very interesting situation and example that I caught here accidentally, and I want to explain it a little bit more. So stay with me, this is very important what I will tell you in the next few minutes. Now, in manual trading, when you go back over the chart and you put the indicators and you want to see how the strategy would behave, where is the trade, where the indicators crossed and so on, it is very tricky and misleading because the indicators are repeating. Okay, now at this moment right here, the opening of the bar was above the upper band. And the opening of the next one is higher. What happened is just the Bollinger Band, it continued and it changed. And when we look at it later, it looks like the bar was below the upper band, but the strategy builder, the software, clearly shows that at that moment the bar opened above the upper band and not below it. Okay, I will say it one more time. At that moment, when this bar opened, the Bollinger Band was below the opening point. And we see it above now because the indicators repaint. Okay, they follow the price and they change after the price. So if I put the mouse exactly on the opening of the bar, I want you to focus on the values that we have below the chart. You will see that I have a bar with open price 105,988. Okay, the exit indicator, which is the envelopes, has upper band with value 106.01, which is the fixed value after the bar was closed. But at that moment, when the bar was opened and the price went up and down for 1 hour, this value for the upper band of the envelopes, it was moving up and down. Okay, it was not 106.01 the whole time. It was moving, it was changing, and at the opening of the bar, it was below the price of 105,988. That value of 106.01 came later when the bar was closed. So what happened? The trade actually closed here. But if we go back and look at it, we will not see that we have the exit. Okay, so this is the huge difference when we use strategy builders like EA Studio. And this is the benefit of having a backtest, because we see exactly what happened, where the trades were open and closed. You can see here consecutive profitable trades, very beautiful. Okay, long trade, another one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, 5 consecutive trades on a profit. Very nice. And if I don't have that and I just put the Bollinger Bands and Williams percent range on MetaTrader and I look at the chart, I don't know when this happened. Okay, I don't know at any moment, am I in the trade already or am I starting here? Should I exit here? You can see how hard it is. It is just on the upper band of the envelopes. Okay, sometimes it is so hard to understand the value of the indicator. It's just a few points and pips. And here I can see very clearly that I had a trade opening. Okay, in this case it was because of the Williams percent. Okay, same thing with the Williams percent range. Okay, you see that there is a cross. Sometimes it looks like a touch, and you cannot be sure on the chart on MetaTrader was there a cross or not. But if I put the mouse on it, you can see very clearly now that the Williams percent range level at this moment was negative 15.83.1, right? And the previous value was negative 10.48.4, which means that it was below the negative 14 and then it went higher. Okay, but sometimes it looks like a touch over the chart and you cannot understand what happened there. Was there a cross or not? And if you don't have a backtest and if you don't have the strategy builder, you cannot really understand how the strategy works. You don't know where the trades were open and closed. But with AI Studio especially, which I find to be the best strategy builder at the moment for the last 3 years, I can tell you this, guys, it's not just because we have integrated on our website, but because we have been testing all of the strategy builders out there, all of the software available, and obviously I want to use the best one at every moment. AI Studio is like so much ahead of every other software, and that's why we have integrated on the website. There is a free trial which you can take advantage of on the homepage. There is a free course as well, and in the next lectures I will show you more about the AI Studio, how I am using it, how many other traders are using it, how we generate and create new strategies, and how much easier is the algorithmic trading with such a piece of software. Okay, and more as backtest statistic is not just the indicator chart, the balance chart, and what we see right here on the editor, but if I click on report, you will see stats information, which will give you so much more about the strategy. This is the backtest output, so you'll see how many things we have as an information. We have the balance chart, we have the count of entries by weekdays, profit and loss in currency by weekday, so we can see when this strategy profits the most. Obviously, in this case, it is on the Thursdays. Okay, and if I scroll lower, you will see much more information, and you can see the profits and losses by entry hour. You will see the position profit by position holding time. So what that means is that the most profitable trades are just in the first hours. You can see a lot of green dots over here, and below we have monthly performance in currency, so we can see back from, in this case, November 2017. I have set it this way just to have a look at it for the last 3 years, but you can notice that there are months on losses for this strategy. Okay, this period over here in 2018 was horrible for this strategy, but that's normal. Okay, we always have profitable trades, losing trades. We have profitable months, we have losing months as well. But the idea is that with AI Studio, we can have this kind of strategies where we will have more profits than losses. And when I trade portfolio of strategies, or I trade, for example, 12 expert advisors, like what I'm demonstrating in this course, they compensate each other. Okay, when this strategy was losing in this period, the others were profiting, and this is exactly the risk diversification. Okay, and I've mentioned that I have selected to use 3 years of historical data, for the backtest, but if I go to data and I go to data horizon, I can increase it as much as I want, up to 200,000 bars. And this is because I'm using the premium data, or this is the data from the Forex historical data app that I already showed, which is the best solution. And this data comes automatically in EA Studio, so I don't need to download it. It is here all the time. All I need to do is to make it work for the broker that I have selected to use. And in the next videos, I will show you how I'm doing that. Okay guys, so this is the difference when we use EA Studio software and when we do backtest on MetaTrader. Honestly said, I'm not doing backtests on MetaTrader. I just show them in some of my courses when I compare the software and I compare MetaTrader. It's a huge difference, but of course that's a professional software. However, I will share some more of it in this course, but if you don't want to do it by yourself, no worries. I will include the Ready 12 expert advisors always, so you will not need to do it by yourself. All you can do is just play with it, use the 15 days free trial. It has no any obligations and you can export as many expert advisors as you wish. That's the beauty. With one click, I export the expert advisor, okay? I don't need to have programming skills. I don't need to hire developers. It works with one click. This is why initially I took it. Then after I saw its capabilities, I knew immediately that we need it in the academy, and everyone in the team uses it, and now hundreds of our traders, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. Okay, let's go for the next lectures together, and you will see more of the course and you will learn more about expert advisors. Cheers guys.